Hello, my name is Challenger Code, and I'll be discussing the topic of video games. I'll be discussing games from the 90s on, and I'll be discussing how video games have gone hand in hand with the development of culture and computers and technology. So, first off, video games have developed side by side with computers. As computers have developed, so has video games graphics, video games processing ability. Every aspect of video games and computers have developed hand in hand as video games are more powerful and been able to be more realistic and more open world. So is computers is more advanced and more able to do different abilities and equal a relation. And along with this, with video games and culture, video games have developed with online forums and with fan groups. Besides just having talking with neighborhood friends about video games, it became hand in hand with the computer forums of how-tos, but in this case it was like a big giant neighborhood discussion, but on a much larger scale. And this is the first development of online communities, such as nowadays would be like Xbox Live Gold or the PSN network, as big multiplayer online communities. Along with this, it goes hand in hand with developing communication and multiplayer. The video games as communication ability among individual households has developed hand in hand as well. As headsets have developed so people can connect with each other instantaneously, along with be able to play with each other multiplayer live and in sync, so they actually have team by team co-op play. Whereas just having it being you and your friend playing in your house, it went from that to be able to be anywhere in the world and you can play with them side by side. Along with this, video games have dealt with movies and TV. There has been tons and tons of TV based off of video games, such as there was like the Sonic the Hedgehog series and Mario. There's actually been a Mario series and all that kind of stuff. It's just and they go hand in hand. There's even movies off of video games, like coming up later this year will be a Tomb Raider movie. It's all really interesting how the media plays off of each other and has been doing this for decades now, and it's just incredible of how every piece of media feeds off each other, and video games contribute to this feeding just as much as everything else. And then, for example, going more to this regarding culture, the games are meant to match the culture, such as with the Spyro game Spyros is supposed to be a kid-friendly version that was supposed to be like in the 90s, compared to like Mario and with Sonic and all those games. It was a kid-friendly platformer, and that's what I'm showing now. And with this, it was able to make the consoles be able to compete with each other, and this was the main competition between consoles, was making kid-friendly games alongside with making adult games and teenage games as well, being able to make a wide variety of demographics. And along with this, if you look closely, the video games, the context within it matched their culture. A game that I'm not showing here was this. Was just one game where it completely referenced 90s references, and it was a big deal and nostalgic for many people because of the culture that it brought with it. Nowadays, it would be considered really weird, but to them, it was awesome. And with this, along with this, the Spyro played along with the demographic and with the culture. It portrayed the typical 90s punk kid. It was the it kind of thing. Be like cool and edgy and rad, and it played along with this kind of time period's culture. And so, yeah, that's basically what it was. And along with then, eventually, as the group and the demographic got older of these edgy 90 kids, the age demographic changed to 35 years old, which meant that majority of games, as can be reflected now, is 35 years old, and most of the games are very violent. They're mostly first-person shooters. Majority of games released now are rated M. When looking through the Xbox catalog and stuff like that, I can't really find a game that is not rated M, and I can't even barely find a kid-friendly game anymore. Along with this, the Metal Gear, for example, shows culture, as seen in the older PS1 Metal Gear Solid. It shows like the culture with like the type of like art style, and with the codex and the slang, which is also repeated throughout the entire game. And then this then reflects into the newer game, which I'll be showing in a minute. It shows how some of the concepts will stay the same, but the culture has changed, such as the codex has changed, which is the menu guide, and the way you're able to access stuff, along with the overall music style, the graphic style. Everything about it has changed in general, in the sense that it is different cultures, but it has the same base gameplay, and it's both a stealth game and stuff like that. And so, for example, in the mission I played in the first one, it was just a sneak around mission. You go into an elevator and you have to try not to get caught. And the newer game, it is an open world game, and that's more of a difference because of the better processing power. And with that, it's my opinion, it's much harder in the sense that you have to figure everything else in a bigger spatial sense to be able to complete the game. And what I see towards the future is that with this technology constantly increasing, I see that looking forward to VR, the VR virtual reality gaming will be big. Esports will be big. Same with augmented reality, such as with Pokemon Go, and gaming is also becoming a career as well, with YouTube, with the rise of YouTube and stuff like that. So along with this, games are becoming a career and a sport, and not just a hobby anymore. It has become and is becoming a bigger and greater culture and community on its own, and it will continue to become this way into a really great and big culture until it becomes an entire separate society on its own. Thank you.